Welcome back to another video, everybody. I'm Jason Carver. In today's video, I'm going to be taking you through a PSA submission and how I prep my cards for grading. Alright, now let's get into some of the tools that you're going to need. So the first thing you need is something to place the card on. I would recommend not putting it directly on a desk. If you have like a mat, that works just fine. If you don't, just go with like a little paper towel right here. I got this from PSA Collector. Now, the next thing you're going to need is microfiber cloth. Then magnifying glass here. And this one is a little bit better because it has a light on it. And then you're also going to want to be in a well-lit area. So I'm in a bedroom with windows. I have a ceiling fan with a light on it. And then I have two big photo lights here that I use for filming that are pointed down at the desk here. Because the light is going to allow you to see those scratches and some of those little imperfections that you can't see with the naked eye. And you better believe when you send your cards off to PSA, BGS, SGC, whoever the heck you want to send them off to, they are going to have way better equipment than you have. So they're going to see all that stuff there. You're also going to need some brand new penny sleeves or soft sleeves. Some card savers. This is what I use, card saver 1. And then I just picked this up, and this is a centering tool. So what you do is you place this on top of the card. I would recommend putting, taking the card out of the top loader, and then you line it up, and you just pick a point, and there's these little dashes on each side. And then it has a chart, and it'll tell you what that card is. Is it 60-40, 50-50, whatever the heck it is. I pretty much use just my naked eye to tell the centering. And with a lot of these, like say these prisms and whatnot, they have these dots here. And so you can just count the dots. You can count that there's 3 dots on this side and 4 dots on that side. So obviously then the centering is not going to be very good, and you're probably going to get marked off right away. Now the next thing you're going to want to do is wash your hands and or put some gloves on. But you definitely want to at least wash your hands whenever you're going to be touching your cards. You want to get all those oils and everything off of those hands. Now when you're getting your cards ready for grading, I suggest that you be very, very picky with what you send off. Here's how I go about deciding on if I want to send a card off for grading. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to research the card. So I'm going to research it. I'm going to search on eBay. You can use Market Movers or Card Ladder, and I'm going to see what this card is selling for raw, and then what is it selling for in a PSA 9. So if I think this card is golden and it can get a PSA 9, maybe a 10, I'm going to look at that PSA 9 card. I'm going to see what the price is, and then I'm going to see how much I'm invested in that card. So if I paid $20 for this card, and then I'm going to send $15 off for grading, that's $35 right there that I'm going to be invested in this card for it to get graded. Now I'm only going to send it off if I think it can get a 9 or a 10. So if I'm invested $35 in this card, and it's only selling for $40 in a PSA 9, I'm definitely not sending it off for grading. But if I'm invested $35 in this card and it's selling for $100, $200 in a PSA 9, or I'm really high on the player and I think they're going to have a breakout year, then I'm more likely to send it off for grading. So after I've researched the card and I have the card in hand, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to give it a quick glance to see if there's any issues. So I'm going to look at the centering, I'm going to look at the corners, and I'm going to look at the edging to see if there's any whitening along there. Because I can do those things real easy without even taking the card out, and if it knocks off on there, then I'm not even going to bother taking the card out and looking at it any further. It's just going to be a waste of time right there. Because if it can't get a 9, if I see something right out the gate that's going to knock it down to a 9, most likely there's another thing, and it's just not worth it. Especially with something like this, or Troy Brown Jr. Now if I had a Jaw or a Luka or a LeBron, yeah, I'd look into it a little bit farther. But with these up-and-coming players that haven't really proven anything, I just think they're going to be good. I'm not ready to speculate on that quite yet. So when you look at this card, you can see the corners look pretty good. The edging is good. But if you look at the left to right centering, So there's way more spacing over on this side. So right away that tells me I'm not going to grade this. I am going to keep it though. So if Chumo Kiki has a great year and he just balls out and becomes the player I think he is, then maybe I'll send it off and I'll be okay if he gets a 8 or a 9. So since the centering is off, I'm not going to grade this card, and I'm not even going to take it out of the top loader here. I'm just going to move on to the next one. So then I have Troy Brown Jr., and I have been buying a lot of Troy Brown Jr., especially with the Select and the Prism. And I've literally been buying lots of these off Facebook and eBay in the hopes that I can find one that looks really good and send that one off for grading. So what we're going to do with this Select card is first we're going to look at the corners. And the corners all look sharp here. The back looks good. There's no whitening along the black. So these black dark edges you have to really watch out for. The white you can't necessarily see, so you'd have to take a magnifying glass to those. But right out the gate, it looks pretty good. So we're looking at the centering right here where this black comes out and there's this little bit of silver on each side. And so to the naked eye, this looks pretty well centered. But this is in my do not grade pile for a reason that there is some surface issues with it. So we're going to take this out of the top loader and get a closer look at it. Now when you're taking these out, these thicker cards, the Select, the Prism, you want to hold it like this, and then you're basically going to bang this part of your hand onto your other hand until that card starts to pop out. So it's still in the penny sleeve, and I'm just going to very carefully grab the sides of it. I'll place that to the side. I'm going to kind of pinch the sides and then just push from the bottom up here. Now when I grab the card, I'm going to grab the edges of it. And then I'm going to set it down right here. And I can already see where some of those dimples are. So then what I would do is I'd get the microfiber cloth and I'd kind of give it a little wipe down. Just to kind of get maybe some that like cardboard fuzz that gets on there. Or if you're buying this from someone online, their pet hair or whatnot. But in this right there, right where my finger is, can you see that little dimple? So there's a dimple right there. There's one right there too. And that's not even with the magnifying glass. Like I can see that with my eyes. So there's got to be other issues as well. And looking at the back, you really want to look for print lines on the back of these Select Prisms and Optics. It'll be a line that'll just kind of go across right here. And that's why you want these real bright lights, because you can kind of move it a little bit and you'll see these massive lines. So sometimes, I don't know if you can see it, there's one that comes right through here. So this one's actually not too bad, but for all those reasons, I wouldn't send this card off for grading. So then what I do is I just grab that same penny sleeve, that same top loader, I put them back in, and I put them in my not grading pile. All right, so moving on. If you watch my previous video, I just pulled this Tyler Hero Marquee. I'm potentially going to send it off for grading. I just wanted to take a closer look at it. So I looked at it already. The corners are sharp, the edges are sharp, and the centering seems to be really good too. So you just look at this bottom portion here as it gets closer to the edge, and you look at this portion over here, and that looks pretty dang symmetrical. I believe PSA allows a 60-40 split, and this is definitely not a 60-40 split. It's closer to a 50-50 than a 60-40. So what we're going to do is we're going to wipe off the card, and then we're going to take our magnifying glass and we're going to take a closer look at it. So what you want to do if you're using the paper towel is you want to grab from the corner. So you're going to have your card in the center. You're going to grab from the corner. So you have all this extra space in here, and I'm just going to kind of hold the corner very softly so the card doesn't go anywhere. You do not want to have the corner close to where the bend is, because then the corner can get caught on this paper towel right here. And I picked this up all from PSA Collector. So if you want to watch someone that probably knows a heck of a lot more than, well, not probably, does know a heck of a lot more than me, I'll leave a link right here. Maybe I'll put up one of these cards right here. Boom. And so you just click on that and you can watch him and subscribe to his channel. And then I'm just going to very lightly kind of push towards the corners. So I want to push away from the card. You don't want to go this way because you could potentially kind of snag one of these corners right here. And then you're taking that PSA 9 to a PSA 8. So I'm just going to kind of wipe it off real quick. I can see like a little black dot right here. I don't know if you can see that on camera. So I'm just going to kind of scrub it a little bit. And then I'm going to pick it up from the corners, or from the edge here, and I'm just going to flip it over, and I'm going to do the same thing. Just kind of hold down one corner, wipe away. These paper cards, you don't have to wipe too much, like one little wipe through, but these chromium finish cards, like your Select and your Prisms, they're going to hold on to fingerprints, so you really got to kind of scrub on those. Definitely do not put your thumb on there and like try to scrape something off, because you will totally scratch up this type of card. So here's the Tyler Hero. I wiped it off. It looks pretty good. There is a small little dot right at the very, very top. You can't even, I don't think you can see it from the camera, but I'm going to take this magnifying glass. Look at that thing shine. And I'm just going to kind of take a closer look at it here. After further inspection, it does have this little imperfection right here at the top. You can't see it, but with a naked eye you can totally tell. And then I flipped it over and I looked at it with the magnifying glass, and it does have a little bit of chipping along this top dark border. So for those reasons, since there's two things that I'm noticing, they could potentially take it from a 10 to a 9 and then a 9 to an 8. This is a low-end card. I definitely wouldn't be sending it off. I am going to keep it though, because if Tyler Hero is that guy, then potentially I'll send it off later if I'm okay with it getting an 8. But right now, sending it off, $15 grading fee, I just don't see it being worth it. So I did find one card that I am going to send off for grading, and this is the Troy Brown Jr., this pink cracked ice. Very cool looking card. But I mentioned you have to be very, very picky when you're sending off your cards. And so for the reason is, a lot of people are sending cards off to grading that weren't sending them off before. I bought some lots of Troy Brown Jr. off of Facebook and eBay, and I got one that I thought was worth it to send off to grading. And all of these I found issues with that I felt would knock it down to a 9 or an 8 or even lower. So out of all of those, we've got one card. One little gem right here. So once you find your card, this is me personally. I like to get these little sticky notes here. Or what are these called? Post-its. Shout out to Post-it for the sponsorship. I'm just going to take that. I'm going to place it right here at the top. Gently place that on the penny sleeve, and then I'm going to take a card saver, and then this is a little trick that I use. Bend this thing. I'm going to open it up, smash my fingers in there, really try to loosen this thing up, because the last thing you want to do is find that perfect card and then it get bent or something when you're trying to put it in. So kind of hold it like that, grab the card, slide it on in. Just like that. Now you're ready to send that card off to PSA, and when the grader gets it, you make his or her life just a tad bit easier. They can just grab that tab right there and just pull the card right on out. Now if you make their life a little easier, maybe they'll give you a little better grade right there. Now here are all the cards that I have prepped for my next PSA submission. I currently have one submission over at SGC. Don't fucking ask me why I sent my cards over there. And then I have two submissions over at PSA. One is a modern and one is ultra modern. I have some 1986 Fleer stickers over there, and then the other submission is just some modern stuff. So we'll kind of go through these. Some of them I still have to put the post-its on, but we got the Troy Brown Jr. that I just showed you. The Luka My House, so second year Luka. Luka is becoming my next favorite player in the league. So if you know me, I'm a huge LeBron James fan. I'm not a bandwagon. I've been following this guy from high school, but I think Luka is that guy. I think he's the next guy that's going to take over the league. Very likable. His game is crazy. So I'm going to take this one and I'm going to let it sit in my PC for a little while. And then the next guy is probably my favorite guy coming out of the 2019 class. And keep in mind, I'm a huge Duke fan. So you had Zion, you had RJ, you had Cam. But my favorite guy, Mr. Ja Morant, My House. I love this card. It's probably going to sit in my PC for the rest of my life. It's just so cool. The My House with the lightning or whatever that is. And then my guy, Bol Bol. So I am a Bol Bol guy. I'm not that guy that bought a bunch of Bol Bol when he had that scrimmage. I was buying my guy Bol Bol before the season started, or right when this product came out, I should say. I watched him at Oregon, so I'm over here in Arizona. Oregon's in the Pac-12, same as U of A. And this guy lit it up in his 9 games at Oregon. I'm going to put some highlights right here.
4 threes and 5 attempts. 10 to shoot. Bol Bol, NBA 3. Bol defended by Masalski. Here's Bol between 2 players. Floater inside to Wooten. Kick it back outside to Bol. Up and up. Bol left open for 3.
Yeah, good help by Matt Powell.
Bol against Hahn. Whoa, breaks him.
Bobo bothered that.
Pritchard.
Richardson guarded by Davis. Inside the Bol.
Got that 3 level in his game. Let it fly, baby. How about 4 levels, baby?
But this guy's just got a crazy game. He plays like a guard, but he's 7'1". So we got a string of some Bol Bol here. Now, I do have some Bol Bol over at PSA already. This is just another batch. Now, what I will say is when you are getting your cards ready, you want to put them in order here. So you want to put either like players around each other, the same card around each other, or like the same, you want to put mosaic with mosaic. But you want to organize this just to make it as easy as possible for the grader. I feel like it's going to be a lot harder for them if they're going from mosaic, Bol Bol, then optic, Donovan Mitchell, and then like just make it easy for them. So we got some Bol Bol. My other advice is going to be, I think I picked this up from PSA Collector again. So shout out to PSA Collector. But when you have the same card, put the one that looks the best in the back. Because the psychology of this person that's grading this card, if they give this one a 9, and then this one looks a little bit better, they're more likely to give it a 10. And then this one looks even better, they're going to give it another 10. But if you have like a 10 here and then a 9, you know, the chances are they might give this one an 8 back here. So put the best looking card in the back of the order that you're submitting. So we got our Bol Bol. We got my guy, PJ Washington, another dude I was buying lots of. And, you know, I only found this one that I was willing to send off to grading. My guy, Marvin Bagley. So, you know, I'm a Duke guy. I love this guy at Duke. And I think, you know, this is what, his 3rd year in the league, if I'm not mistaken. He just can't stay healthy. But he was a 2nd overall pick. I think he's a great player. Like, it went Ayton. Yeah, and then Marvin Bagley. This guy was picked ahead of Trae Young and Luka. Like, he's got talent. And a lot of people are sleeping on him. Now, if you've watched any of my other videos, you know this is my guy, Anthony Simons. This is a little baby right here. This dude, up-and-comer in the league. He brings a lot of hype and energy to the Trailblazers. The only downfall is he's like a Damian Lillard in some aspect of it. So it's going to be tough for him to get a lot of shine right now. He's very undervalued because he plays the same position as Dame Lillard and CJ McCollum. So look out for this guy to blow up. All right, now we got some Mosaic RJ Barrett. Another one I was buying lots of them on Facebook and eBay, and these are the 3 that I found. This one, to me, looks the best, so it's at the end. Now we're going to talk about my guy, Talen Horton-Tucker. So as a LeBron James fan, I follow the Lakers. Talen Horton-Tucker. This guy, it's November 2020. This guy just turned 20 years old a couple days ago. For his rookie season, I believe he was the second youngest player in the league behind Tyler Hero. Don't quote me on that. But when this guy got into the game in the bubble, you can just tell, like, he passes the eye test. As a 19-year-old playing in the bubble alongside Anthony Davis, LeBron James, all those guys, that dude was not fearful. He was in there playing his game, getting his shot, driving. You can tell this guy's got a lot of potential in there. So he came from Iowa State, I believe. If you aren't familiar with this guy, don't buy him, so I can buy all the rest of his cards. Then we got Anthony Davis insert, another Anthony Davis insert, LeBron James insert, then my man Devin Booker. So nothing special about these, just because they're not rookie cards or anything like that. Being in Arizona, I am a huge Devin Booker guy, so we got a couple Devin Booker cards here. Another guy I'm speculating on, Mo Bamba. Talen Horton-Tucker again. Another Devin Booker. And then we got a couple of football cards. Chris Godwin, rookie. And then Chris Godwin, select rookie. I'm expecting to get these hopefully by the start of the next NFL season. And then I'll sell them before the next season starts. Hopefully. Come on, PSA. If you like this video, do all that YouTube stuff. Like, comment, subscribe, bell notification, share it, all that jazz. If you want any of these products that I use, I'll leave a link in the description down below. Until the next video, I hope you guys are staying safe, stay blessed, get some good cards. I'm out. Until the next... I'll just slap this shit out of the camera.